Aloha, this is Matt Darnell with ComTel.Cloud, like up in the sky. We've had some people asking about what's in our Ubiquity demo kit here for cameras and access control. So I was just going to go ahead and show you and tell you about some upgrades we're actually going to be doing. Then I've got a list here of all the prices of everything and how much it costs. So let me go ahead and flip this up here and then show you what's in here. So this case, let me start with that. It's got four handles on four little not handles, but kind of opening things on the side. One on each side and two on the front. Actually got this at Harbor Freight. This is the biggest one they have. It turns out it's not big enough. So let's go ahead and do that. Open that up and block your view here, but you can actually see what's in here, what we have in here. So we have four. These are G6 Insta cameras, the USB ones. Let's go ahead and take everything out here. We have two fobs that we have. This is an intercom. I do need to mount this in a box so it'll sit on the table flat. This is a power supply for one of the Instas. We don't always use these, and you'll kind of see why here in a little bit. But we have that. And then this is a G6 turret camera that we have in there that we keep on that level. And then this is the stuff that makes it all worth it. Generally doesn't come out of here. We have a switch here. It is a Flex 2.5 gig PoE. It's got the 8 PoE++ ports, and you can see that the power supply is almost the same size as the switch. So let's go ahead and take that out. These are more power plugs for the instant cameras. And I also had a G3. I don't know if you saw that. One of them of the instant cameras. So this is a G3. I don't think you can buy that anymore. We have an access point that always stays right in the kit. This never comes out. This is a what would you call this? We use it just to kind of wave our hand by it to, I guess, the fob, just a fob reader, and then we have a reader pro, but that's something different. So we have a reader here, and we just use that hand wave to show request to exit. This is one of the things that we use to power one of the instants, where you put PoE in this side, and then it spits out 5 volts for USB. So one of these cameras just plugs directly into there. People are kind of amazed that you can run a USB device off of PoE. They've never seen that before. This is a siren that is connected to the hub here, and this we just have go off when the G3 sees any motion. So again, this never comes out of the kit here. And this is actually a mag lock, but magnet powered lock. It's or powered lock, and basically it's got a kind of a deadbolt that goes back and forth. And the reason I like this over a traditional mag lock you'd have there is I can just leave this in the kit here, and when it activates and deactivates, there's a real loud noise. So it's very obvious when you do facial recognition or something that the lock has been engaged or it disengages. So that's why I like to have this. This is just a regular door hub. The big one, I think there's door hub mini. This is a regular door hub. And all we have it plugged into is this one, the one with the deadbolt in it. And then this here is a Cloud Gateway Max. It does have a 2 terabyte M.2 SSD right in there, and of course I bought it without the little tray that goes in there. So that's $1 million item there, not $1 million. But with the shipping, it's shockingly expensive. And this is powered by its own power supply. So right now, currently, we have to have two power cables coming out here. One to power the Cloud Gateway Max and one to power the PoE switch. But what I purchased was kind of like this here, but it's supposed to be on steroids, where it will it will allow me to put in PoE and then put out the voltage for this cloud, this router here. So instead of having to go through this gate, this power supply into there, all the power for everything can come from that one switch, even to power this, where this is where the UniFi is. This is where the Protect is. So let me go ahead and get that out. Oh, two other things that we have, because a lot of times we'll want to stick one of these, because before the demo, I'll just, almost like an Easter egg, I will grab one of these cameras. This can be, oh, it's got power supply on it. I will take one and just use, I keep these battery banks in here. So because they're Wi-Fi and everything's already pre-programmed, all I have to do is plug one of them, into the battery bank here, and then it will go ahead and power it up. And you see I got a light right there, on there. It'll just start working. So, in the next room in the hallway, I can just set these on top of a fire alarm thing, or a fire extinguisher, because it's just temporary. This is obviously not a permanent mounting when I do something like that, but it just sets it there. So then when I do the demo, they're, oh my goodness, where's that camera? And they're always so shocked. So let me go ahead and get this here out of the way. And as you can tell, we're absolutely out of space on here. So we are going to go ahead and be upgrading with that. Because some of the things that don't even fit in there is we have the Reader Pro, and this just sits here. We just set this, let me show you this here. We just set this on the table right like that, and then the camera comes up, and you can do the entry or use these use the fobs to go ahead and get all that done. It's funny, I got to take it apart, because there's this part here you can kind of see there that it sticks up, the little screw thing. So when this is there, it can't sit flat. So I unscrewed it from the bottom so it will sit flat. I thought, where's the best place to have it where I won't lose it? Inside the thing. But that's not a good look, having that roll around in there. So can we go over the prices for everything? What that costs. So the Cloud Gateway Max here, that is this here, that does the UniFi and the Protect right here with the 2 terabyte. This device itself was about $199. You have to, and then the power supply for this that's going to let me use PoE++ is $50. Then you got to buy the tray for $20, and then an SSD M.2. So it's about, you can call this $300 for this right here. The Flex, the switch itself, is $200, and I think the power supply is extra, because you can, technically you can power this with PoE++ in to power the plus ports, but the hub needs plus. And this is going to need plus, so I need a switch like this, and then we have enough power to go around for everything. So all that plus the power supply, I think, is another $100 for that. So that's about $300 for that there. The U7 Lite, that is this access point. Again, you just stick this in there, sit there. That's only $100, right, to have that there. The door hub was kind of a kit, and that came with this reader, the Reader Pro. Had to pay extra for this little, because this is not a standard size. It comes with the plate, but you have to pay extra for this here, with not included. But this, 2 of the fobs, and you get the door hub here. The door hub is $600. This you can get on Amazon for $20, $30, $40. They're pretty inexpensive. The lock here, and this just sits in the box. That never comes out. Oh, this is $30 for this little box right here. For that there, the intercom, this guy here, and basically how this works, and I want to get it so this will sit flat again. Will sit flat is when somebody presses the the ring the doorbell. This will ring, and it kind of looks like a little iPhone. There's an answer, reject. You can say answer. You can see them, what's happening on this camera here, on the outside, and talk to them and hear them and press a key to unlock. So it's kind of nice little thing. You can buy a three kit, but this by itself was $199. The G6 turret, which was the bigger camera, that was $200. This one here, and I like the turret over the the torpedo looking one. This is one I can kind of get it to point any way that I want or sit it any way and have that happen there. The G6 instance, those were $180 each, about $179. So I have actually 4 of those. Again, these are probably getting the most attention. People just, wow, where's that camera? Where'd you put that camera? I can't believe it. Because they'll have the facial recognition. So if I set it up in kind of a busy hallway, right outside the conference room or something, it'll just pick up all the faces, and they're really amazed by that. And then also working with this device here, so that it gets powered from here. People are really impressed with that. There is the G3 incident. Again, you can't. You can look at the size difference between this is a G3, this is the G6. So really, big difference in that. I think you can buy the G4, but you can't buy the G3. This was like $99. The siren, the little speaker thing here, this does light up colors and stuff when it goes off, but I just leave it in the bag, and then I usually have this facing the wall, and then I'll just put it out, face it towards someone, and then when the G3 sees any kind of motion, this goes off. It can be kind of loud, so we turn the volume down and leave that in the box. So that's $109. And one thing that we had to pull out for a customer was an AI key. So I actually have an AI key that I am going to reintegrate into here. And that is now the new ones, it wasn't always this much, but new ones are $799. And it's not as good as people say, and it's not as bad as people say. Again, all this stuff I paid for with our money. So, you can tell the people that are given free equipment, they're just talking how great it is, and it's wonderful and God's gift. And it's not that. And also, it's not as bad if you go on Reddit, people talking about how it's just an absolute waste of money. It's absolutely not a waste of money. Like any tool, you got to have a need for it. But I bought all this stuff, so it's not great, needs improvement, but the way that it integrates, and it easily is worth a lot of money when you have a bunch of these out in the field. So this we have to put in there. Obviously, that there's no room for that. I always carry with me this here. This is my travel router, gl.inet. I would go on cruises, go anywhere. I do this. So if the folks have Wi-Fi and they don't want us to plug in, because usually in the firewall here, I'll just, if they give me a cable, I'll just plug that into the WAN port. If they won't do that, like they don't want me to plug in, which is most of the time, I'll just see if they have a public Wi-Fi. Even if they don't have a public Wi-Fi, I will hotspot on my phone. This will hotspot to my phone, kick out Ethernet to here. So now all this stuff is on the network. So I don't need to, I can just on their demo computer, I can bring up the demo account, and they're just kind of amazed that I can just bring that up anywhere, by having this kind of configuration that's on the real internet, even though it's not plugged in the internet or having that there. So this is all, I already have one thing that pre-programs to there, and I'm pretty good. I mean, if I get their Wi-Fi information, and within a minute or two, I can have this program to be on their Wi-Fi, and that goes out. So I'm going to definitely have to find room for the AI key. I will have that power supply that will let PoE++ come off of here and plug into here to power that, because that means I only have one thing that needs AC power, that this switch. And it's a 180 watt power supply, so should have plenty of power for just what we're doing here. Most things are real small, like actually this speaker is plugged into here, but this, have the access point, the speakers. There's a couple things plugged directly into there, but not a lot. I mean, the AI key is probably might draw the most power when it's drawing off of here. So we have all that stuff. Some other things that looking at maybe, and I like here, I haven't even fooled around with this yet. We have the super link. This is kind of, I don't know if it's more of a home thing, but I got some two environmental sensors. I'm not sure how much those are. 2 smart sensors. I don't know. Just come down here and dump them in the water and show something going off. I don't know if that's a good demo or if that's more for home. Let me know what you think. If this should be in a demo kit. We're all B2B. We don't do any B2C kind of stuff. And then another thing we might do is throw in an AI port and a third-party camera, from Synology or GeoVision or something like that, to have the AI. I think we'll have the space to have that in there, and we'll do that. And we also have what's kind of cool, I think, really neat is the Access Ultra. That's all in one for the door control. This would kind of slim things down a little bit, but some geeky people, like me, like to look at this and see all the different connections and all the buttons you can have there. But this might make things a little smaller. So for everything I showed you, but not including the AI port, what you saw in there plus the AI key, it was $3,000. For all of this. And, you think, well, and that's not including the cables and all the little knickknacks that we got. Like, doesn't include the GLI net. I think this was $250 or something like that. Or, the little battery banks. Maybe these are, what, $20, something like that. Is it worth it? Absolutely. I have won deals because of the fact that we are able to take this to a customer and show it. Back when ComTel first started, back in the 1980s, 90s, we used to do that. We would take phone systems. That was the only way to do it. You had to bring the phone system to them. And so people like that we bring it to them. And we've won deals against other UniFi folks, even though they said they could demo the same thing, they would talk about it, but we actually showed them. We brought it to their office. We showed it working in their environment. So the new kit that we have, let me show you that. Let me find my switcher here so I can show you what that looks like. It's a bit bigger. The main requirement I didn't like about the old two things is, one, it was heavy. It had no wheels, nothing like that. So I got this off of Amazon. I don't remember how much it was. Probably a little more, $100. When it's got wheels on it and a handle here, so it's a lot easier to maneuver around. And I need to have the whole thing under 50 pounds so that I can check it in without paying any penalties or anything. So that's the weight goal. So I want everything in here, be able to keep in there on the bottom all the things I don't want to take out, the switch, the router, and the gateway here, all the different the sirens, that kind of stuff. I don't want to have to take out, but just be able to lift the other stuff out, put them on the table, and go. When I'm doing my thing, I can easily set up in 10 minutes. Breakdown takes longer than setup, but I get 10 minutes in there. I just plug one. Now I'm going to plug one cord in. Everything turns on. I place these around the office or there in the conference room, looking all different ways, and then boom! All of a sudden, all the the facial detection start coming up and everything with that. So I'll go ahead and this is one. It's quite a bit bigger. If I put them up side by side, you'll see that this one is not only is it it's quite a bit deeper, but lengthwise, it's quite a bit longer as well. It's probably another 3 or 4 inches here. So having that there. So I should be able to get more on here. It's going to be easier to move around and have that there. So not cheap, but worth it. It doesn't always get the sale. Sometimes we demo this and end up doing a different product because it's not what they want or doesn't have what they want. Some people, believe it or not, don't like what these cameras look like. They don't like the white or I know there's other skins you can put on some of the cameras, but they want different colors. They want them less obvious, and they're going to want to do different things. So it doesn't work everything for everybody, but it's certainly, I'm glad I put it together. And it's another way in, let me come talk to you. Let me show you what we've got going on with all this stuff. So if you have any questions or any suggestions of if we should put in the super link, anything else. How about, the AI, should we show that we can work with a third-party camera with this and get smart detections? I know you can work with a third-party camera, but with the AI port, we can do third-party camera AI detections with that. I don't know, they did promise that you'd be able to do more than one camera with one of these. I don't know why the AI key can't do what the AI port does. Why this only works with UniFi cameras and you have to do an AI port for third-party cameras. I don't know. But yeah, we're putting all this together. So once it's all put together, I'll definitely show you what it's like and maybe even set it up and show you what that process is. But in here, like, I can't have things when we go to a conference or something. We'll bring tripods to in one corner of the room. I'll put a camera in there and just have it way up high there, and like these little bendable gorilla tripods, and wrap it around the coffee thing, looking down at everybody getting coffee, and all the fascias come up and everything. So I don't know how much we're going to be able to put in the new case, but the old one, and keep it under 50 pounds, that's key. But the old one was it was too heavy to carry around like that, and it was maxed out full there. So again, if you need any kind of camera access control, Utah, Salt Lake City area, all the way down, past American Fork here on Oahu, definitely give us a call, ComTel.Cloud. We can bring this to your site, let you experience it firsthand. Give us a call or check us out on the web, ComTel.Cloud, cloud like up in the sky. Aloha. Yes, here is what can get power from the PoE++ switch here and power the Cloud Max Pro. Let me go ahead and let me just unbox this right here so we can see what is inside. Off to the side, I've never actually looked at this. It's kind of strange where I guess the PoE comes in and then you can get power out and also use the Ethernet part of that. I'm not sure. So nothing in there. I tell you, these guys, origami experts, it's like they have a challenge. They're not going to use any tape, which I'm okay with. So that's this is just, some mollies and screws in there. So we got, hold on, wait a minute. This is not what I expected. So this has got, plug it in, and the world. It's got an Ethernet port right here, which says 10 gig, and it's got a power plus, a single plus, and then coming out, it's got, just like we thought, a USB-C and an Ethernet port. So I'm wondering, and this is removable. So will it work just like this? Or did I waste $50 plus shipping? Because what I wanted was power to come out of here. I guess it's going to go into here. And then power the gateway. You know what? Let me clean up here for a second and plug this in, because I really want to know if this is going to work like I thought. Because if I've got to plug this in anyway, I would just stick with what I already had. This is the power adapter we used to have for the Cloud Gateway Pro, and this is so much smaller than the one here. And it is so much larger. Again, the only advantage of this much bigger one is that it would not need to plug into the wall, you know, to an AC outlet. If this has to plug into the AC outlet anyway, with the size, I would definitely just stick with the original one. So I'm going to plug in the switch, plug it in here, and let's see if that works. Okay, so right now, this power supply here that is connected to the switch is plugged into AC power. And then I just have a little small cord here for right now to plug into here. So this, once this switch boots up, it should be putting out plus plus into here, although this says 10 gig and a single plus. And what I wanted to do is power this here. But I'm afraid that this has got to be plugged into AC power for it to be able to, you know, kick out enough power here to run this here. So, all right, well, so let's see here. We got this. I've got a light, a regular light there. No link light there. Let's see if anything happens. Nothing. That is disappointing. So why does this just need too much power? Why would this have a, this can't kick out Ethernet, can it? It would be, I don't know. Well, let me plug this into AC power, and then we can see if that makes a change. And again, if I have to power this with AC power, there's no point in having this in the demo kit. Let's see if I get any lights here. Oh, now I got a link light there going to here. And now, yeah, it's starting to boot up. So I guess this, yeah, this is similar to this. You know, this just takes in, I just thought it would be a bigger, badder, more power out one of these, where it could take in PoE++, which is 60 watts, and spit that out 5 volts. This is 5 volt 2 amps. I thought it could spit out more power, because this is just regular. So it could put out more amps, enough amps to run this device here. But apparently that's not the case. Okay, well, bummer. So I still will need 2 plugs. Now, whether I buy a little 1 to 3 kind of a thing, so I can have 1 cord coming out of the cable, I don't know. But okay, so this actually was a fail. You know, sometimes when you're, you know, paving the way here, you got to experiment. I'm glad I was able to waste my money on this and not you. We'll probably use it at some point, but I know, you know, this little light here is not on. I don't know if that's because it's not adopted yet or what the scoop is, but this is definitely booting up. You know, it's got that little line going across the body. There's no Ethernet or anything, so that usually takes a little bit longer. But yeah, it's definitely, you see the line getting bigger. Maybe if I just plug this into the WAN side, and now I have a link light there. But this light is not on, and I have the link light on the switch. But even if I unplug this here, oh, okay, it does show that the link is down. So whether it's on the LAN side or the WAN side, it shouldn't matter. Okay. All right, so it's getting powered, but it does show no link. So that's just a connection all the way through there. And then, so this is just for old school kind of stuff where, you you have to separate power. But if it's USB-C, it should be new enough. It doesn't need this kind of contraption. So I'm a little mystified about what the use case of this is, because it is so large for what you get. If you have a good use case of when you need something like this, because I have seen devices like this, and I have one right over there. Let me go grab it. That does something similar. So this here is what we would normally. Actually, this is USB-C as well. So this is you plug it in there, Ethernet, and then it breaks out to USB-C, and then you have Ethernet, PoE splitter. But I was hoping that it would just provide power, coming into here, that it would just provide the power. I didn't need this part there. Yeah, no. So if I was to plug into someone's, their connection, it would be double NAT, but that doesn't matter. I could, the connection they give me from the outside world to their outside world or onto their LAN could go in here. And I guess this would just be one cable coming here as opposed to a power and then plugging into their LAN. But I don't think it's worth the size, because I'm inserting this in the demo kit and taking this out. That is a net loss because I'm more constrained on space. Again, this stuff doesn't even come out. They don't even see this. Sometimes people look into the case to see what's there, but it's down up against the wall, and then there's a few cables coming to the table that has, for the Reader Pro and the Reader and a couple cameras. But we just use the skinny cables. I've got 25 footers that we keep in there. Anyway, all right. So this was a little bonus here for everybody that stayed that long. I appreciate it if you did. But please let me know if you know what the use case of this thing is. And when you really want to have something like this, when it's better than just going with this power and plugging it directly into there. Yeah. So again, this is Matt Darnell with ComTel. Have a great day. Aloha.